Hi guys, Bernard here. Welcome to the Citizen channel. As we have a match preview today, and we look forward to quite an interesting, hopefully exciting game for all the right reasons. A Champions League semi-final, Manchester City versus Paris Saint-Germain at the Etihad on the 4th of May 2021. 8 p.m. UK time. So we're going to have a look at that today with our usual features, including a look at how our opponents doing since we last played them not long ago. So that won't take long. And of course, an interesting starting 11. We've got a few clues from the Palace game, I think, but is Pep trying to throw us a wobbler? I'll have a bit more on that, of course, as we do this. Of course, we'll have our usual features, which also includes the odds on the game as well. So let's have a little bit of fun with that and see how we're doing with that. Please, if you're new to this channel, push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications, try and inform and entertain on here, and do City past, City present, City in the middle, City quizzes, City book clubs, you name it, we've got it on there. But if you do look at the playlists, all the City stuff, there will be some film and TV stuff as well. So if that's of any interest, if you got to have a little break from football, I do sometimes. Watch a good film, watch a good TV programme. I do little reviews, information, vlogs on that as well. So if you're interested or know anyone who might be interested, please point them in my direction. And of course, today it's football, and that's what we're interested in. And if you follow me on Facebook or Twitter, I do post loads of football stuff on there, funny, serious, all a mix of stuff. So if you need any new followers or friends, just seek me out on the links on screen, and I do check every 3 or 4 days and follow and friend everyone back on there. And all comments are welcome. Don't forget, I do a live show now on a Monday evening, UK time, 5 p.m. till about 6:30. I've been going a little bit longer because we've been having a bit of fun the last couple of weeks. So please join me for that, and obviously we'll talk all things Manchester City on there. And if you can't leave us a comment today, if you can just give us a thumbs up before you go, that'd be fantastic. If you like what you see, that'll be very much appreciated as well, even, who knows. Right, yeah, a little quick look at the History Boys. I've done a dedicated History Boys version for this on P.S.G Manchester City, so please seek that out. It will be on the links on here, and obviously if you check my playlist. We first met P.S.G on the 3rd of December 2008 in a competitive game at it wasn't the Etihad then, was it? Was it called Eastlands or the City of Manchester Stadium or whatever you want to call it? But a Group A match. There were 5. The groups all had 5 teams in those days because of the machinations of the UEFA Cup. You only actually played a team once, so you could play them away, you could play them at home, but we happened to pick P.S.G and play them in a home match that season. Not a great crowd, 25,626. I would say we never get great crowds for cup games, do we, these days? But rattling round a 47,000 City of Manchester Stadium. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest game. It's fairly tepid. It ended 0-0, which still guaranteed City's second spot in the league that we were in, and obviously the ability to avoid teams that have dropped out of the Champions League as well, that obviously went into this competition as it is now, but in a different sort of way. And then 8 years later, of course, it was 2 very different teams met in the 2016 quarter-final. Obviously, second leg at now the Etihad Stadium with obviously Real Madrid waited, didn't they? We didn't know them because the draw hadn't been done, but Real Madrid were going to be our opponents in the semi-final because, of course, we brought back a 2-2 draw from Paris from the week before. And we still had sort of business to do at the Etihad, didn't we? In a crowd of 53,039. Rolls as one to a 76-minute curling effort from KDB, which was enough to send City through. Obviously 3-2 on aggregate. A very, very tough game, but we did it, didn't we? So there's your little history. Please, as I said, please check out my dedicated History Boys feature on City versus P.S.G. How are they doing? Yeah, well, since defeat to City, I mean, I don't think they were too down about it. Disappointed, yes, but, there's still life in the tie. It's only half-time, as they say, and obviously, as I said, they will be confident, I think, P.S.G coming into this game. But since that defeat, they had a good win over 5th place Lens, 2-1, on the same day we defeated Crystal Palace. But it was a hard game for them. They had to play a pretty much full-strength team. I mean, they're still going for the league title, of course. And, of course, Lille are the team who sit above them, just one point ahead. And obviously, they actually featured a 2-0 home win, so they kept that 1 point lead, even despite P.S.G winning against Lens yesterday. Interesting enough, the Nice game, the Lille game, they played Nice, who were sort of mid-table, and they actually restricted Nice to 0 shots in total, never mind on target, just 0 shots. So it looks as though they're going to take some shift in Lille, aren't they? But obviously the PSG going to need to rely on a slip up. But there's only 3 games left now, so it's whoever blinks first, I suppose. But at least PSG are still doing their bit, if you like, by winning. So yeah, nothing there to give us any inclination of what's going to happen on Tuesday from that PSG game. As I said, it was a tough game. There's about 6 bookings in the game as well, so it's I think everyone's come out of it okay. Obviously, we've got all the rubbish, haven't we? I mean, these are my thoughts on the game now. We've got all the rubbish about Mbappe and stuff, but I don't believe that for 1 minute. But we'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, my little thoughts on this game then. Obviously, with the PSG coming to City, I think. Not lacking confidence. Will a 2-1 lead be enough? I think we were a bit greedy, weren't we, the other night? Hopefully we were wanting a 3-1, weren't we, at one stage when they went down to 10 men. But I think it was wise, probably, by Pep to keep it to 2-1. Of course, you got all these machinations now where PSG will have to score at least 2 goals on the night, whatever happens, to actually stand a chance. And obviously, to quality, they'd have to score 2 goals without reply to actually get through on the night. But obviously, if City do score a goal, then all the different machinations of this sort of change, don't they? So obviously, 2 to take it to extra time. If City score 1, etc., etc. But there you go. I think most importantly, it's always going to be that initial psychological first goal, isn't it? I said it doesn't really change much whether City score or PSG score that first goal, which sounds a bit silly, doesn't it? Obviously, that'll put City 3-1 up. But psychologically, it's the advantage of actually getting that first goal. I mean, obviously, it could end up 0-0. Do you see that? Not particularly. I don't really see that. But one thing is sure, I don't think PSG will be daunted by this. As I sort of hinted at before, the victories against Barcelona and Munich were both away from home in the previous rounds, and that's where the form has been. Obviously, this is a little bit strange. They're chasing the game more. They perhaps weren't in those 2 games, but yeah, it will be interesting. But it certainly won't daunt them. I think Pochettino will go for it. As I said, there was an injury worry over Mbappe, but I don't think that's going to come to anything. I think it's just psychological. I'm sure Pep and City aren't fooled by that for 1 moment. We can only hope that will we keep him as quiet as in the first game? Probably not. I mean, if he does play, obviously he's going to get chances, isn't it? There's no. Surely we're not going to keep him quiet for 2 games. It'd be nice to think so, but yeah, I wouldn't have thought so. And as far as the team's concerned, I would expect at least 9 of the players who started the first leg to start the second. We've obviously got a couple of wild cards and a couple of interesting picks, haven't we? With potentially, for me, Cancelo and Rodri be the guys stepping down from that first leg, so that leaves the other 9 who started. And I will put Ferner in there, and obviously we had a bit of backup to that yesterday at Palace, didn't we? Fernandinho in there, and probably Zinchenko again, based on what we've seen and how he came on and sort of helped control the game in Paris last week. But it's not unlike Pep to surprise us, is he? He might start with the identical 11, you just don't know, do you? And this bringing Fernandinho off in the Palace game might just be a ploy, might just be a ruse, just to keep Pochettino on his toes, because obviously if he sort of obviously brings Ferner off and leaves Rodri on, the implications are that Ferner will start against PSG. But it wouldn't surprise me if Pep won't just start Rodri again and Ferner will be on the bench. That's the sort of thing, he does think far ahead. We don't make many subs, but just by making 1 sub, he sort of caused a little bit of a little bit of thought and consternation in perhaps the opposing manager's thoughts, if you like. I think we'll have to be a little bit better from the start. I don't think we can afford to be as tepid as perhaps we were for a lot of that first half in Paris. I think we'll have to be a lot bit better. I don't understand why we have to go in at half time and get a kick up the bum, to be honest with you. We should be well up for this. There's bound to be nerves, of course. I think City players will probably have more nerves than the PSG players, because the PSG players probably got not too much to lose now. All right, they have got a lot to lose by not getting through, but they've already had the disappointment of the first leg, so there's not as much stress sort of forming on their minds. And obviously we did have this in the Dortmund game with City, didn't we, where Pep said the players were a little bit nervous, so it was only his calming words at half-time in the PSG game in Paris that perhaps made the players go out and do the bit. So that could come into it. Let's face it, we're going to have to be sharp because a lot of both our goals in Paris did have a little element of luck about them, but that's football, that's how it is. We did create chances where we perhaps should have done better as well. But so we can't really afford to squander very good chances like that. I do expect a very similar PSG lineup, apart from obviously the guy who got sent off, was it, in the game. And I'm sure there is at least a goal or two in them. I dread to think there's a goal, 3 or 4 goals in them, but there's certainly definitely 1 or 2 goals in PSG. Let's be honest about that. And as I said, hopefully not too many more, because that will sort of pull it. Unless we score 3 or 4 ourselves, then I'll be happy. I mean, if we end up with a 4-4, I mean, it would be a bit not good for the old heart, is it? But we'll take that, won't we? It is a night for calm heads. As I said, Ferner, yeah, he can be calm, but he can be a bit of a wind-up merchant as well, can't he? So obviously taking Cancelo out and putting Ferner in might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. But I'm sure as captain of the club in what could be his last season, we don't 100% sure yet, but I'm sure Ferner will be a sensible bet for this one. And if he needs to foul someone in the second half, he will. I don't think we don't need any bookings early on, do we? Let's face it. We've got a Dutch referee, which we'll talk about in a second, who's quite good. So we should be okay as long as we do nothing absolutely stupid. But as I say, Rodri's quite calm. I mean, if he did play, but I think he's too calm sometimes, Rodri, and a bit too laid back. And I do expect a tight game. Although a win would be nice. I can see this going either way, really, but a draw is, I think, is quite a realistic score. But it would be nice for a win, and a nice, comfortable win, as it always will be. But I'm not sort of gauging anything on that at all. I think a 2-2, even as I said, my heart wouldn't mind a 4-4, but even a 2-2, I don't think my heart would take that either. But you never know. I can't see it being a 0-0, but hey, these things happen, don't we? And we've got an added little bonus now, a little scare factor as well that I perhaps didn't think about last week when we played PSG. That we've got a fighting Sergio back as well, haven't we? Who could, I don't believe for 1 minute he'll start this game, but as a coming off the bench option, that's a fantastic option to have because he looks full of confidence and he looks well up for it, and he certainly will frighten PSG if he does get a chance to play in this game. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on that. I mean, my 11 for this game then, obviously based on what I've been saying, as I say, there's a couple of wild cards. I'm going for Ederson, Walker, Stones, Diaz and Zinchenko, who is the sort of a wild card sort of there. There are other options. In the middle, Ferner, Gundo and Bernardo. Obviously, there could be a Ferner-Rodri connection in there, couldn't there? You never know, but I doubt that. But as I said, it could be Rodri for Ferner as well. So that's the middle, and Mahrez, KDB, of course, and Foden up front. I think that's gonna be the one that he's gonna go with. So Ederson, Walker, Stones, Diaz, Zinchenko, Ferner, Gundogan, Bernardo, Mahrez, KDB and Foden. Yeah, as I said, and the other options, I can't see anyone else coming from outside of these. Obviously, just Rodri and Cancelo could be, as I said, used in that team. And also, dare I say, Sergio as a starter, but probably not. I think he'll probably be there on the bench, but that'll probably frighten PSG a little bit if he started the game, won't it? Because perhaps get a little more room to manoeuvre in as well in this one. But I can't see it, but you never know, do you? Let me know what you think. Let me know your starting 11 anyway. That'd be great to see. Right, match officials. Yeah, the match officials, the referee, as I said, all from the Netherlands. We've got a fourth official from, I think he's from Greece, the fourth official. But the referee's Bjorn Kuipers. We had him early in the Champions League matches from the Netherlands. His linos are Sander van Rookel and Erwin Zienstra. The fourth official, as I said, is Anastasios Sidripoulos from Greece. VAR, we have Paul van Bukel from the Netherlands, and again from the Netherlands is assistant VAR guy is Dennis Higler from the Netherlands. So we'll see how those go. We'll see how they pan out. Yeah, my score prediction before we go on to the little odds section. Yeah, I'll be happy with a 3 or 4-1 or a 2 or 3-0 or whatever, but I'll go for a 2-1 and a 2-2 as my couple. I would say 2-1. But obviously, when we get onto the odds, I'm probably going to. I always have 2, don't I? So, but I'll be happy with the 2-2. But be a bit nervy, won't it, to say the least? But it's not going to be anything else, is it? I say I don't usually get nervous before Champions League games, but when it comes to a Champions League semi-final, the nerves are beginning to kick in just a little bit, like they did against Real Madrid. Let's hope we're a little bit better than we were at home against Real Madrid. Eh? That was a damp squib if ever there was one, but obviously a totally different game now. But there you go. And right onto the odds to finish off, please. I don't condone gambling, and when the fun stops, stop, and please be gamble aware. This is just for a little bit of fun, a little bit of interest. Last time out, yes, a nice little profit last time, a 5.5 profit with the game at Palace, thanks to the winning margin. I put a little bit on the 2-goal winning margin. Obviously, I had a little bit on a 2-0 win, so a nice 5.5 profit. So I might have a little extra bet this week, just because obviously it worked out last week. But I kept the bets to the minimum last week, and we came up, so that's not too bad. To win the Champions League, yes, City are 4-6 on. Chelsea are second favourites at 10-3. These are the best prices. Real Madrid are 5-1, and PSG are the outsiders of the bunch at 10-1, because obviously City are the favourites, and we've got a 2-1 advantage. The match odds, yeah, to win the match again, City are 4-6 on. That's not a bad price if you think City will win it. The draw 7-2, and an away win is 10-3. So quite interesting, that, isn't it? So I'll say the bookies do sort of fancy the draw more than an away win, but obviously City are firm favourite still to win this. Both teams to score, yes, is 4-7 on, which is again par for the course of what I'm thinking as well, and 6-4 if you think no. But a nice 0-0 will do me, to be honest with you. That'll be fine. So the correct scores, my 2-1 prediction, that's 15-2. So I'm going to have a point on that. And I'm going to have half a point on a 2-2 as well, a 2-2 draw at, obviously, like the actual game at P.S.G back in the day, or back a few years ago. That's 14-1, so I'll have a half a point on that. If you fancied a dull 0-0, that's 18-1. If you fancied a 1-0 City, is 9-1. If you fancied a 3-1 City, that's 12-1. So I won't give you the PSG scores. They're not going to beat us, are they? So I won't do that one. Half-time, full-time, a draw half-time, City full-time is 15-4. That's not a bad price. Interesting. City and City's 8-5, and a PSG winning at half-time and City to win in the full-time, similar to the first leg. That's 16-1. So if you fancy that, I'm going to say the old heart will palpitate again. But if you fancy that one, that's not too bad. Anytime goal scorers, you got Mbappe. I'm sure he's going to play. He's 9-5. Foden and Neymar are both 7-4. Bernardo 19-5. Fernandinho 9-1 if he does play. Diaz and Stones are always worth a little effort from a set piece, aren't they? There, Diaz is 12-1 and Stones is 14-1, so they're interesting prices. Margin, the winning margin, yeah, interesting. 1 goal is 3-1, so I've risked half a point on that as well. I've for a 1 goal margin, I can see 2-1, 3-2, 1-0, something like that for us, hopefully. Fingers crossed. A 2 goal margin is 4-1, but yeah, so I put on a little half a point on the 3-1 anyway on that one. And sort of my last bet of the day for fun bets is the over-under goal market. If you fancied under 3.5 goals, which is very possible, that's 4-7, not a bad price. If you fancied a goal fest, so anything over 3.5 goals, 4 goals and more, that's 11-8, so that's a very good price. But I think over 2.5, so there's got to be 3 goals in the game. I think that's pretty good. So similar to the under 3.5, but obviously you've got over 2.5. They can score as many as they want, can't they? He's 4-7. So I've got a couple of points on that. I've gone mad this week. I said I had a good week last week, so I'll have a couple of points on over 2.5 goals in the game. So as long as there's 3 goals or more, we'll make a profit on that. And that's 4-7. So it's not too bad. I don't mind betting odds on. There you go. So that's my just for fun bets. As I said, please keep your stakes to the minimum. Only ever bet what you can afford, and please be gamble aware. No information on the We're Not Really Here thing at the moment from City. It's a bit early as I'm doing this, but please tune into their show before the game. I'm sure they'll have 2 or 3 interesting guys on there. It starts about an hour and a quarter before kick-off time on Tuesday evening. We're Not Really Here. It carries on at half-time, and there's a bit at the end as well. So if that's your sort of thing, log into the City site. Probably from Monday onwards, I'll probably have it up who's on the We're Not Really Here show. Anyway, there you go. Thanks for joining me for this little review. Let me know in the comments what you think. As I said, as I'm recording this, it's Sunday, so if you can join me on Monday night for a little chat about this game as well live, that'll be fantastic. But I'll be back with a review of this game, of course, on Wednesday after the match. And please check out all my little history vlogs on this, etc, and all in the playlist there before I see you again. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. What are we going to do the rest of the day? Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Till we meet here again on the Citizen channel, or perhaps have a flit across. Have a look at my film and TV channel. If you want to have a little break from football, whatever you do, little break from football, wherever it is, whatever you do, I always ask you to please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.